Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a swallowtail butterfly on some thistle flowers. We're going to be showing you step by step how to do it from start to finish. And I think this will be kind of a medium difficulty painting. I'm going to try to simplify it quite a bit so that it is easier for beginners. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to chat tonight. So if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I've already prepped my canvas. This is an 8-inch by 8-inch Fredrix canvas. It's archival watercolor canvas board, but it's really for any water media like acrylics are, so it works fine for that. And I've coated it with a very light coat of yellow oxide. There's a little bit of glazy medium in there and some water, just like a little dollop of it, and I spread it all over the canvas with a paper towel. So. And that's dry, and then I transferred on my design on top of it. Let's go over our colors really quick. I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light, cadmium orange, quinacridone magenta, dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue-green shade, cobalt teal, phthalo green yellow shade, unbleached titanium, titanium white. This is glazy medium. I'm going to use a angle brush for the background. So I've got a number 6 from the Princeton 6100 series. And then I've also got the 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch, so a little bit smaller sizes for some of the details on the butterfly. And then I've got, let's see, a few just little round brushes because there's some smaller details on the butterfly. So I have a 3/0 round for some of the lining detail, a number 2 round and number 4 round. And those are in the Velvet Touch line in the red handles. And I also grabbed my Deerfoot Stippler. I might need that for the background. I don't know. I'm not sure. And then I got a fan brush in case we want to do some splattering. So pretty simple brushes. Really just use whatever you've got that's going to work. I may end up grabbing a liner brush to, if I need to do some of the leaves and things. So, but I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more simplified than the image, So we'll see how that goes. I always like to complicate things.
Yes, we will. We're drawing a straight line tonight, 2 hours later. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, hilarious. All right, so let's start out with this larger angle brush here, and I'm going to grab some white and some green. And I'm going to grab some of that cobalt teal too. The background's kind of a combo of greens and teals. So I'm going to get some lighter color and just kind of have a mixture over here of different tones. So I'm going to get the phthalo blue, add a little bit of the burnt sienna to darken it up and make it more teal. Isn't that a pretty color? And then the cobalt teal is basically the phthalo blue and phthalo green together with some white. So it's just pre-mixed. You don't have to have it. You can mix it yourself if you want. And then I think I want just some light green. So I'm going to get some of this phthalo green and add some white to it. Maybe have a little bit darker version for some of the places. And I'm really just going to fill in this whole thing with this whole background with these dabs. I didn't show how to draw the butterfly. I'll do that here in a minute. I'm going to be painting around it. I debated. Trying to decide if I wanted to do that or not. I'm going to go ahead and grab the ultramarine or the phthalo green and phthalo blue there and just... I still have these other colors on my brush, so just kind of dabbing it, mixing them together and blending one color into the next. And you see where I have edges here, I'm making sure that they're kind of soft so that when I go in later, this is going to dry, so that when I go in later, I'm not going to have a hard line here to try to deal with. So like up in here, I just want to make sure anywhere where I stop this color that I make sure that I softly blend it out. Now around my butterfly, I don't have to worry about that. I obviously don't want it to be a line, but like down in here. I want to make sure that that doesn't dry before I blend that out a little bit so that I can come back to it at my leisure. And I can take my time around this butterfly.
Oh, I should have my leisure suit on then.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It's already started.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to another exciting tutorial.
Hey, you say that like it's not exciting.
Well, I mean, it's not a tank, so you're going to do the best you can to make it interesting.
My tank video was still the least popular video I did last year, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hear anything about
Yeah,
that.
I understand that.
Not everybody is a connoisseur of tanks like you are, honey.
That's bad for them. How's the
It still
swan?
cracks me up that I got that really bad angry rant in German. I still don't know what exactly it said, but it was really angry about the tanks. Something about it set him
Obviously
off.
didn't do very well.
No, he didn't like it.
Well, well, at least the swans are, almost even with the tanks. There's a common theme going on here. People are voting with their watch time.
And no to Mark. Is that what they're saying?
Exactly.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, video boy. We don't want you. You just run the cameras.
Just stay in the background and be quiet.
Exactly. Be annoying as usual.
I love it. So I'm just grabbing combinations of all these colors here, these greens and stuff, and just adding kind of pretty, I'm making it a little bit more teal than it is in my picture because I like teal. So there you go. You can make it more green if you prefer that. And I'm gonna go right up and over and around my flowers. I'm not going to worry too much about the flower stems. But I don't want to go over the main part of the purple flowers, so I'm going to go kind of right behind those. Because I didn't want green underneath my purple. I just felt like it would be too hard to cover. So I went with a little bit lighter. Get this all the way around there. And it's okay if you let a little bit of that yellow show through too. That's fine. So I'm going to go down as far down into the flower as I see the center of it. So it's going to have these kind of spikes, and then right down here where it's solid, that's where I'm bringing that green down. So I'm covering all of this with green. All of these little spiky things are covered with green, but I'm not going into this middle part that I want to keep more densely purple. So
Okay, we got a question.
yes.
Somebody wants to know, is the yellow background, does it make it brighter when you put the paint on it?
It'll help just as an undertone. It just kind of helps. It doesn't necessarily make it brighter, but it tones the canvas. It makes it a little bit easier for you to see what you're painting. I like using yellow oxide because it goes with just about everything. It doesn't clash with anything, and it's light enough that it doesn't compete. So if you're putting a light color on top of it, you don't have to worry about it, being too dark and crowding it out. So that's why I like to use it sometimes. Don't always use it. Sometimes I'll use a color that's kind of predominant in the painting itself. So I could have gone with green, but because there's so many areas with this bright purple and things, I just didn't want to have to cover it up with a dark green with purple, because I figured I'd have to have too much white. It it wouldn't be as vibrant of a pink. So in that way, yeah, it'll go over the top of this, like the pinks and stuff will go over the top of this yellow really nicely and be very bright and pretty versus going over the green where they'll be a little bit duller.
So how you doing?
Doing great. Yeah. Yep. Starting to look at my March schedule and trying to figure out what I want to paint. So it's been fun. It's getting to where we've painted so much of, kind of the main things that I like to paint, butterflies and flowers and things. So it's getting a little trickier to find new ideas, but I've got some really good ones that I've bought to use for images. Now it's just trying to figure out the schedule of when to do what, So that's always kind of, Mark can tell you, I spend a lot of time on the couch just looking through images. A lot.
Yeah, she quote watches shows with me.
I do. I'm pretty bad about just kind of halfway. And then why are they doing that? Or what happened? What did he just say? Why is...
Oh, I got to rewind.
Yeah.
Check that out.
It's like I got to put the tablet away. And all right, so I'm using these colors now, and I'm just going to grab some of this yellow, and I'm just going to dab in some of this bright green. It's this color here that I was using, just the phthalo green and white. I'm just adding this little dabs of yellow to pop it around up here. And I can grab the glazing medium if it doesn't want to go. My paint's getting a little sticky in some of these areas, and right around here, this is kind of messed up. So I'm going to just mix up a little bit more of that darker color. Blue and green here. Maybe add a little bit of the burnt sienna. And just blend back up into these other colors. And leaving some kind of interesting dark areas in here. Okay. I mainly just want to make sure, it doesn't have to be blended out, but I just want to make sure that everything looks kind of like it flows well. Okay, that's good. So while that dries, I'm gonna grab my sketchbook here and we'll sketch out our butterfly.
Sounds sketchy.
Sketchy. So our canvas is somewhere in here. It's not quite as big as this space, so I'm just going to kind of try to figure out how big I need to make it. I try to always make it the same size as my canvas when I'm sketching something, and that way I can just trace it directly on and I don't have to worry about upsizing it or anything. So if you're working on a really large canvas, I actually use butcher paper when I do my sketches, and I'll do them on butcher paper, or I'll do them directly onto the canvas with chalk. So, but if you want to keep it and make adjustments, then it's best to do it on paper. So I'm looking at the butterfly, wanting to kind of fill up this upper third here, upper half almost. So it's going to be this main curve of the wing right there. And then it's going to curve back down this way. And then it's going to join with the body right here, kind of at an angle. And then the body is coming down like this. There's a head right here. It's an oval. And then the eye is kind of another little oval in there. And then the bottom of the body kind of comes up like that. And there are some stripes that come down on there and some legs that are coming up and out here. And then the bottom of the base of the body is a big tapered oval like that. Maybe a little bit more tapered even. And then that kind of gives us a judgment for where this second wing starts. So the second wing is going to come up from right about here and curve out. Cut that whole section off right there. And then it's going to have these scalloped edges. So kind of scallop lumps there. And then come out. If you did a straight line from the tip right here out, that's probably about the angle for the little bit that sticks out on that swallowtail. And then it starts to curve back in. We're seeing the back end of the other wing here too. And then it's almost a straight line from here out. Like that. Okay. And then we've got stripes that are going to come down here all the way down and cut off part of that like that. Another stripe here, and they always kind of have another vein that sort of goes all the way up that leading wingtip. There's going to be some black all along the edge, and then some bunch of dots that connect all along that edge of that wing. And right about here, we're going to angle it up and then just follow that same angle as this, just about out that way. And again, I'm going to cut that off. Got circles back here and all kinds of little stripes, and this stripe and this stripe match up. It's kind of interesting to me how butterflies do. They're so kind of masters of camouflage, and their wing stripes, like this wing stripe and this one, there's two separate wings, but they match up perfectly. You know, it's just kind of neat to me. And then the one behind here too is matching up, even in flight. It's just kind of neat. Or not in flight, I guess he's sitting on the flower, but you get what I mean. Yeah. So, all right, and then another one right here, and then there is a vein that kind of splits this whole one here, and then all of these little things come off from that, and they just go out to the whole end of the wing, and they separate out that wing like that. And this one is harder to see. You see a little bit of it indication, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put all the veins in it or not. So it just kind of depends on how detailed we want to get with it. And there's like we've got Oak Island tonight, so Mark wants to get to that at some point. It's a TV show. It's a waste of time, but we love it for some reason. I don't know why.
What? A waste of time.
I'm not a believer anymore. I'm pretty much.
I mean, just think all of the lost treasure of the world is buried on Oak Island.
Okay.
What are the odds?
They have had experts in on every,
Oh, yeah, they came
Templar, Mayan, Roman. I can't remember what the last one was. French, something. I don't know. It's like everybody just was like, let's go to Oak Island and bury it.
That's right. That's right.
Let's bury it and not and then just leave it there. And nobody remembers why we buried it or where. But that makes sense.
Well, duh.
Okay. So there's our butterfly. And then, sorry, we're talking about other stuff I'm drawing here, not explaining anything. Sorry, guys.
And here's a butterfly.
And here's a butterfly. So I just did there's a line of black that kind of comes up and around and kind of follows the curve of this wing here and some spots in there, but I'm not going to get too detailed with it, the drawing. And the thistle head on this one is kind of a button shape. And then it's got these long feelers that kind of come straight up this way, and then as it comes out, they curve out this way. And then the ones right down here are coming down straight at us and then back out. So that's kind of how you're seeing. And then the ones that are right here are like almost straight at us. So really all we're seeing is little tiny dots, little shortened versions of that. And then right about here, it's going to shift from coming down or going straight to going up, and keep it small at first and then elongate them as they go up towards the edge. So that's how you get that kind of perspective of this middle part. It can be kind of tricky, but just remember that the part that's facing you is going to be looking, it's going to be doing like that. So you're only seeing these little, very short, even though it's long this way. When it gets out to the sides, it's here. As it comes closer to looking straight at you, you're seeing less and less of that. And when it's looking straight at you, you're only seeing a dot. So that's what these are going to, these ones, there's a few right in here. They're just going to look like straight dots because they're facing right at you. Okay. Then we've got the body of the thistle and some long, nasty looking spines on either side. The thistle itself has got, or the head of it's got, base of it, I don't know, it's got these little notches. And then it's going to attach kind of a rounded, like a triangle shape to the stem. And then again, there's some long, really spiky looking leaves and things coming off of it. And then the other flower here is a kind of a U shape, kind of tapers in a little bit. Again, it's going to have kind of a triangle shape at the base, and then the stem, and then all these leaves around it coming out the sides. And then at the tip, it's going to be kind of more of a flattened, a little bit facing farther away from us. It's not quite turned towards us like this one is. So it's going to be kind of more like this. There's still going to be some that are sort of facing us. Those are going to be kind of short right here, but most of them are going to be pretty long and curved up this way. Maybe not that far out, but you get the idea. And then the body of it's going to have all these little V shapes that stack. Like that. All right. Done.
Good job.
Let's paint.
So I had one question. Mm-hmm. When I look at you straight on.
What? I left my brush in the water the whole time.
No. Just when I look at you on straight on, do you just see a dot?
What did I get on there? I got some glazing medium or something on my canvas. Oh well. Didn't seem to do much damage there. Okay. Do I like a dot to you?
Of course. Just from straight on, though.
Just from straight on?
Yep.
Okay. Good to know. I think I'm gonna use this to pounce in here. That'll give it a little bit more of a regular edge, and maybe leave this a little bit softer edges. So I'm gonna use a lot of white and Quinacridone, pretty much equal parts Quinacridone Magenta and yellow and Dioxazine Purple. Okay. I'm just going to tap in sort of over that area that I left open there. And same thing in here. Leaving that outside edge just a little bit fuzzy. Okay, kind of like that. And this one, I think, I need to come out a little bit, yes. But I think I can create that shape a little better when I add my little wispies. Okay, so we'll let that go. And let's work on our butterfly. So I'm going to start with the number 4 round. I'm going to get some cadmium yellow light and white and some of the yellow oxide because it's not quite a bright yellow, kind of a more toned down yellow. I'm going to have a little bit of a lighter and a darker one, and then I'm going to put one in my butterfly like this. And I'm not worried about my black areas right now. I'm going to kind of go up to them up here since this is solid black, but on my stripes I'm not going to try to go around my stripes. Because I'm just going to paint it in with this color.
I'm going to turn off your mic and redo it. It's making some fuzzy noises, so
Okay.
don't do anything yet.
All right. Is that better? I did move my mic. I moved the cord a little bit. It was up here, so I moved it down.
Okay, that's fine.
Does it need to be unplugged? It's okay. Better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, good.
At first I thought it was my little thing here, but then it gets real fuzzy, so I checked on my phone and no, it was going through, so.
Okay.
Sorry about all that, everybody.
How long has it been doing that the whole time?
It was kind of coming and going.
Okay, good. All right, so getting a little bit of purple. I'm going to use that on the bottom of the body. While that paint's wet, and just kind of adding it in there, blending it in a little bit. Put the face of the butterfly in. I don't know why I made it that long. It's not that big. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last time it was doing that, we had to unplug it and plug it back in over here. So if it does it again, then we'll have to do that. Okay, so like right here, I'm going to go around my stripes because they're pretty solid. Okay. Now, there's different ways you could do this. I mean, I don't know. Like over here, we'll see. It may be easier just to paint this whole thing in with the yellow and then do the stripes. So that's what I'm doing on this side. This side, I'm painting around stripes, so we'll see which kind of seems easier to us when we get it going here. But I do kind of make my edges irregular, even though I'm painting around those stripes. I'm dabbing at overlapping the area a little bit so that when I put my black on, that it's not just a solid line. I like it to be a little bit fuzzy when I do these butterflies. I feel like they look a little bit more natural when the lines are blurry. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some of that darker purple color here. I'm going to use it on the bottom. Here, it's kind of our shadow color on this, the wings.
What brush are you using right now?
This is the number 4.
I'll turn my mic on. What brush are you using right now?
The number 4 round. That help?
Yep.
Okay, added a little bit of that purple right along that edge where it turns to black, and kind of adding some streaks in my wings with that just a little bit. Get some of that brighter white. Okay, and I'm going to get some of this green wall. I still have some clean here. I'm going to clean up the bottom of the mouth here because I got a little bit too much there. And I'm just going to use the glazingly medium to kind of push it around a little bit so it blends into that background. Okay, so far so good. Let's get some of the green. I'm going to add a little bit of the brown to it. Burnt sienna, I mean. And then maybe some yellow oxide. Yellow. It's fairly light green in our, like a fairly bright green in our photo there, so let's go ahead and work on the stem here. Widening out this base just a little bit right there. Use some of the lighter green on this one. Add some of that light green, and let's do the same to this. Now that we got that darker green down, give it a highlight. Add some of the darker green to this.
It seems like we've had a few people make comments that they would like to see more backs of people's heads with flowers in it.
Really good. Yay. I loved that one. I'm excited that people are liking it. I loved it.
So, do you want me to pose for you?
Do you have some flowers from left over from Valentine's Day? Mm-hmm. Get you in there. All right, so I'm going to create a get gray by mixing this purple pink from the thistle with the green right here, this light green from the background. It's going to make this really pretty gray, purpley gray. And it's kind of disappearing into that background color, so we'll have to add some lighter color to it, but for now we'll just paint it in.
I mean, I know you didn't use my boho pose I did there last year. the year before, whenever it was.
True. What did you do? I can't remember. You got the bird feeder plant thing.
Bird feeder plant.
The
The honeysuckle.
honeysuckle. That's
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Or maybe, somebody's saying flowers in my beard. So that might be.
okay. I'll think about it.
And now she's not thinking about it.
Mark knows what that means.
Translation: Shut up.
Getting some purple and the green here. I'm going to go nice and dark right there. Kind of blend it in. I don't know why I want so white there. It widens out the base, not at the tip. So I'm going to add some of this over here. And this paint is still wet underneath, so it's going to just blend with it a little bit. And I'm just going to go in the direction that I'm seeing this growth. So kind of mimicking those little V shapes, right? So I'm just going to kind of lay this paint down in that same direction so that it's gonna create these shapes for me. This one's looking kind of funky right now because these purple flowers are all going to be all up on top of it, so it's looking a little bit odd. In fact, I think I need to bring this up a little bit more. Okay. Let's paint some of the leaves around the sides. I don't think I'm going to put the little one here. Well, I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. I do like to have things in threes, but I'm not sure it's going to add enough to the composition to make it worth the time that's going to take to do it. I do kind of wish these were a little bit like maybe that there was something else that was in a different direction over here, you know. So that...
Now, why is that?
Oh, well, just because it's leading the eye this way, so we kind of need something to stop it and turn it back in towards our butterfly. So we could darken up this corner. That could maybe help draw things in. Or I could do a long leaf or something that's kind of pointing at it, the curving from this one in, so that it draws the eye back around like that. I don't know.
So I was thinking maybe in that upper right-hand corner, like an arrow pointing back towards butterfly.
Would that be too obvious?
Or maybe some googly eyes looking back towards a butterfly from there.
I don't think so. Now look what you made me do.
Those are some pro tips.
Yeah, I think just having some long stems maybe kind of pointing at it will help.
So somebody has asked a question saying, if they mess up, what do they do to fix it without ruining the painting?
Well, like with this background, it's pretty forgiving because it's got so many colors. So say, I made a mistake over here that I wanted to cover. I would just grab whatever colors that's closest to what you're trying to cover and put that on and then blend it out to the surrounding area a little bit and then put it in a couple other places. And that way you're going to kind of hide the fact that you've added a new color, and it doesn't have to match everything that's already on the canvas, you know, exactly. But this kind of painting is super easy to kind of add and adjust little things like that. It's really not going to be a big issue. I'm really not 100% sure I'm going to like having this also thick right in here. I probably should have brought the green in a little bit more, I'm thinking. So I may end up having to do that with some of my green, because I feel like it's a little bit big, but we'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and start on it, and we'll see how it goes, because we'll be able to tell pretty quick if it's going to be too big. So I'm going to mix the same color, purple, and the Quinacridone Magenta, Dioxazine Purple, Quinacridone Magenta. Make that bright. And then this is the kind of darker version. This is the darkest version that we'll have. So we'll mix some white into it, leave it fairly dark, but it's, you know, we need it a little bit lighter. So it's not that dark in our thistle. And I'm going to put in some initial, just some shadows in here, so we can have some dark areas to play off of when we do our other, and try to kind of go in the direction that I'm going to be putting those other petals. So these ones are going to be kind of just right outside the, clean that off because there was just too much paint after mixing that color. So I need to get have a little bit more control over this, because I want to press this flat so that I have a really good chiseled edge and it's very thin. That way I can get these super thin lines on my thistle flower. And always turning it so that it's facing the way that I need the straight line to go. And then right in here, I'm just going to make these smaller little dashes and dots. Okay. Maybe okay. I don't know. I think I'm going to get some of this and just go in this way with it. Bring some of that turquoise from the background in. Along that edge there, and blur that edge out a little bit. I'll do it a little bit on this one too. Just make sure that that blue is blended into the background. You don't want it to look like it's, you know, stripes in our background or anything. So just blending that in. And this kind of painting, you can kind of get away with being a little bit more messier than you would if we're trying for total realism, you know, super clean lines. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with this small round brush for my actual blossoms. Add a little bit more of the pink, a little bit brighter. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of load up with all of the colors on here so it's not just one color. And I'm going to add quite a bit of water and a little bit of glazing medium to make it stick. Because we're adding so much water, we can underbind the binder in this heavy body acrylics. There's not as much binder. So the glazing medium just helps it stick to the canvas. Yeah, that'll work. Just start out with small brush strokes around the outside edge there, pulling them in. Go a little bit farther out than we did in that last view, and these, as I come around the corner here, these ones are kind of straight in the middle here, and then as I come around this corner, I'm going to be turning it in this way, and these ones are going to be curving it this way. Okay, so go ahead and do that outside border, and then add a little bit of white. Just do another layer. It's a little bit different color. That way we can kind of tell that it's sort of different. And you could mix these up and do some of this along the edge and do some of the outer ones, this lighter pink and some of them the darker. Okay. All right, as we get down here, these ones are going to be going, oh, and I need to do that bottom area, but right all through here, you can't really tell what it is anyways, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But okay, so kind of doing some, make sure that some of them kind of crisscross in a different directions, so there's a little bit more different shapes going all different ways. I'm going back in with some of the darker there. Okay. Like that. As I get closer to the center here, and this one, this is right about where it's starting to face us, so I can just kind of do a few little dots right there, and then do very short all the way around. See that? That's how we make it look like it's kind of facing us. Mm-hmm.
Kind of seems like you know what you're doing over there.
Good. Got you fooled.
Yeah, you should teach this or something. So when do I hit to start on the stream exactly?
When do you get to start what?
When do I hit to start on the stream?
You're hilarious.
We're not practicing?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. We got another question.
All right.
Somebody wants to know that if, in your experience, does student quality paint affect the blending, or could it be the ratio of how much water they add to the paint? Sometimes they find it hard to cover and or blend.
It does, and I have a video about that. It's called blending with different kinds of paint, I think, something like that. And I show craft paint and student body paint and then heavy body paint. And I show how they each blend and how to do different basic techniques like dry brushing and blending wet into wet and wet on dry and that kind of thing. So I show all the kinds of different ways of blending and with the different kinds of paint. So it's a good one. It will help you a lot, I'm sure. Remember that one now? Yep.
I was there.
You were there. Mm-hmm. You were. A couple of years ago, so it's been a while.
I think you need to start coming to work with me a couple days a week. Since I go to work.
This
with you
is
for
only
2 days a
fair.
week. Yeah, exactly. You can help.
I don't think I'd be much help at your work. Send some paintings with you. And so it just kind of mussed up the outside border there just to kind of give it a little, more character.
Well, you got a dragonfly and thistle painting too.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Kind of goes with this.
it does. Yeah, that would be a good combo. And I think there was there was a butterfly that I did that year too that
Yep.
was in that series.
Yes, you did.
What kind of butterfly? I can't remember.
Looks to be almost like the same.
Let me see. No, that was a no, it wasn't. That's a white butterfly, honey. It's not the same at all.
It's got the same black and
It's
the marking.
It's a Jezebel butterfly.
Yeah, whatever. It's
Okay.
a butterfly.
But I thought I did another one that was in the small series. I knew I did I did 3 that were on the small canvases all at the same time. So it was that one, and then that one. Yeah, that one. So it was the peacock butterfly that I'm thinking of. And then the dragonfly thistle and the ladybugs, they all went together. It's a little series, but this one would definitely fit in that series for sure. And I've got another butterfly that I just bought that I'm going to do too. I can't help it. It's funny, I was telling Mark the other day, I had this butterfly phase where that's all I painted. And it was probably, it was right before I was doing YouTube or right at the same time. So it was probably 2012, something like that. And I did butterfly paint. That's all I did was butterflies for months, just every kind of butterfly. And then I made fabric and wallpaper out of it and had it for sale up on Spoonflower, which is a website that, you can create your own designs and sell them. And anyhow, so it was up for, there were some decorators that, I had a decorator company out of Phoenix that bought the rights to use it. And so we've done several of their projects with it, with the butterfly, one of the butterfly wallpapers that's exclusively for them, But for the most part, I've just had, this butterfly fabric and wallpaper up on Spoonflower for the last, how many years is that? I don't know, almost 10 years, 9 years, something like that. And it sold okay, it was every few months I'd have a sale, off of it. But all of a sudden, it's selling every single week. I'll have a new sale. Today I sold 4 yards of butter. It's so weird because it's been on there forever, but only now it's the butterfly thing is catching on. So I was way ahead of the curve on that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to me that it's been there forever and it's only now that it's finally getting noticed. So maybe these butterfly paintings will do all right. Because I sure like painting them. So I hope you guys do too. And I hope you try it because they're a lot of fun. They can be kind of tedious, but I don't know. Something about them just really appeals to me. I just really like the colors. I like everything about them. All right. So doing the same thing. I don't know. That's hopefully that didn't sound like I was bragging on it. I just think it's funny.
No, I'll brag on it because there was somebody who was a decorator that was on TV, right?
Yeah, she was on that show, making. What was it called? Making It. The one with the guys from Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Really fun show, crafting show. But yeah, she's Joanna Gick. She out of Scottsdale, Arizona. They have some of my butterfly wallpaper on their website that's just exclusively for them. But we sell it every now and then. Kind of goes in spurts.
So they haven't asked for a tank wallpaper?
Nope, they haven't asked for tanks. Sorry, I think this middle part needs to be more straight. I think I need to. This part down here is where that's coming out at us, not up here. This part up here is just straight. Get some dark. So if you mess up on that, just get some of the dark and just kind of go over it with the dark, and then you can do your light again. The key with this is just to kind of alternate your darks and lights so that you can kind of give it a little bit of shape. I went back in and did some lighter areas here. I may go back in. I feel like it's still a little bit dark along these outer edges, especially because it's going over the top of this green. So I may just go back in with some really light and highlight what's already there. Try to kind of catch the tips of some of these that are already painted in. And so I'm not adding new, it doesn't really need anything more thick in there, but it just may need a little highlight on it on some of the ones that are already there. Yeah, but it's just funny. Trends are just weird. It's just so hard to know with trends what's gonna, what's gonna take, what's gonna be the next popular thing,
True that.
I try to catch those. I don't solely do that though. I paint what I like to paint, so I'm pretty much, even if it's not something that's particularly popular at the time, I'm pretty much always going to be painting flowers. I don't, I just like to paint them. I like them. So hopefully I don't think they're ever going to go out of style totally. I think everybody likes flowers. That's pretty universal. And you see butterflies and things in a lot of the older paintings that we see in, some of the museums we visit. So I think they've been around for a while. They just kind of, fads kind of come and go with decorating, I think.
Maybe we can paint a butterfly on a soup can.
What?
Maybe we can paint a butterfly on a soup can.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew, huh?
True. I'm trying to be nice to you right now.
I know. Thank you very much. No, it's just like you were saying, different fads and things like that.
Right.
I wouldn't have thought that would have been, as popular as it was. But
True. Well, and technically, as an artist, if you're going as a fine artist, you're really you're not really, if you're painting on trend, you're too late. It's like by the time it's already hit, by the time it hits Walmart, you're too late. So it's kind of a guessing game. You're like trying to kind of find that, at least for me. But like I said, I don't paint to try to, I factor it in. I'm like, will people want to see this? But then also a larger part of it is, do I want to paint it? So I've been painting long enough now, 30 something years, that we've painted a whole lot of stuff that I did not want to paint. And I know how burnt out you can get doing that kind of thing. So I try really hard not to paint stuff that I'm not really into, because I know I want to avoid. We paint 3 times a week and I could easily hit burnout if I was not painting stuff that I was excited about. So I just really...
I can't wait for your chocolate series.
All right. I mix a green, yellow, and a little bit of this unbleached titanium here. Yeah. Marky.
Well, I'm just thinking of things that you like. You like
I do
butterflies
I
and
do,
flowers and chocolate.
Yeah, I do like chocolate. I think you like chocolate more than I like chocolate, even.
Probably.
I do like chocolate, but
I would paint
you
chocolate.
really like chocolate.
And I would paint Excel spreadsheets. And you.
And me, oh, good answer.
I noticed you didn't say you'd paint me.
I don't like to paint people.
I'm picking up on the vibe.
No comment. Okay. Yeah, no comment. I'm not even going to go there. All right, I mixed the dark green here with the blue and phthalo blue, phthalo green here. And I'm just going to adding it around my thistle here. Just adding a bunch of little spiky things happening. Keeping it fairly loose. Maybe add a little bit of burnt umber to it to darken it up a little bit. What time is it? 7 already. Okay. I gotta get this butterfly going.
Take your time.
Yeah.
There is no rush.
Okay. It's true. You've already eaten now, so.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's happy.
Somebody asked, did you go with a deeper tone of purple on the flowers due to personal preference? Or?
Well, it's just because that color is pretty hard to mix. It's really not a color that is in the toolbox. It's not. You can get it close, but this darkened a little bit when I painted it too. So what I could do is paint a few more of the light areas here and then glaze it, and I might do that to try to get the tone a little bit closer to the original. But yeah, it's pretty hard because it's just not it's a color that, and I've had the same trouble with the other one. You could probably use a fluorescent. You probably need a fluorescent to get it close enough, closer to that original color of but the monitor looks more pink than mine does. It's weird. I don't know why, but the one here looks different. Maybe it's because it's farther away. I don't know. It looks a little bit darker on my screen. But no, that wasn't really a choice. It was just the way it ended up being, to answer your question. All right, so I'm going to use some Cobalt Teal and some white here. We had some controversy in my Facebook group this week.
Hey, real quick, somebody wanted to know, do you like to paint still lifes?
Yes, I do.
I know you're doing one in your Patreon group right now.
I do. I like them a lot. Yeah, I like them. All right, so I mixed some of this color. I mixed the Cobalt Teal with white here, made a very light color, and then I mixed it with that color that I was just using on the leaves. And I'm going to use the medium color first, and I'm just going to use this round brush. I've got the number 2 round. I'm just going to set it down and pull just a little bit to create these little things and leave a little space in between them. And they're kind of going off the edge, so like that. Okay. And then I'm going to get that lighter color, and I'm going to add it right at the tip over the top of these. Maybe not on all of them, but just on some of them. Oh, you're zoomed way in. Okay. Let me get this one. Okay. So let's start on this one over here. I'll just start right in the middle and kind of do a line across. And then go in between. like an artichoke. Reminds me of that shape. I wonder if they're related. Because they have that kind of thistle-like bloom when they bloom out.
They might be second cousins or something.
It could be. They might be from Arkansas. Sorry. I couldn't resist. We love Arkansas. We've lived here.
You're on your own there.
Almost 30 years. Please don't send me mean notes. Perpetuating a stereotype there. Sorry. Sorry if you're married your cousin. Didn't mean to offend anybody. I'm just digging a hole deeper, aren't I? Need to stop.
Yeah.
Could have been from Louisiana. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm
so
muting you.
You're gonna cut me off.
So I've turned off her microphone. Nope. I've turned off your microphone.
Where I live. I'm allowed. My kids are from Arkansas. And we're definitely not cousins, so we're okay.
Wow, we went off the rails there. Hard.
So I'm so going to get in trouble for that.
So they want to know what is that tiny
using
brush?
The purple here, and I'm mixing it with that color that I was just using here.
And what brush are you using?
This is number 2 round.
Number 2 round.
Yes, so mixing this with the green. I'm just going to kind of go up underneath these and add a little bit of pink under in between.
Somebody said that yes, artichokes are thistles.
Ah, nice.
And then somebody said they are in the sunflower family.
Are they really? That's interesting.
I mean, this is internet. You can't believe everything you hear. So, footnote.
They wouldn't lie to us.
If you're watching this for educational purposes, don't trust us.
Double fact check.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. Sorry. I'm feeling bad now. Feeling contrite. Should have stopped.
That's okay. I turned your mic off, so.
Did you?
Just for part of it. No.
Did you really?
I did after.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, only for a few seconds. It was funny. I could hear you in the background through my mic.
So mean. All right. It's close enough. Let's get the small brush again. I'm going to get some yellow, get some burnt sienna and some yellow oxide here, mostly yellow oxide, a little bit of burnt sienna. And we're going to do these little spiky things coming out from this guy. Oh, no, I kind of didn't mean for it to go in that direction. I think they must be in front. I don't see them in my, I'm going to put a few kind of out from there, but I'm going to try not to do them too dark. If they're super dark, just lighten them up a little bit, or, so they blend in closer to the color that's already there. But we're just trying to kind of go around outside the thistle here. They're little spiky. These are just nasty little buggers, aren't they? I would not want to touch one of these. They are not telling me, come on. Come on and pet me. All right. And then I need some of the green branches, stems out here. Get a little bit of the burnt umber. I'm putting some up kind of where that thistle meets the stem there to kind of add that transition. And I am keeping this very raw, very kind of loose and not super detailed. So just letting the kind of brush strokes fade off. And then we can add some yellow, maybe some of this yellow that we were just using. Add some little tips to these. Okay. We can try to create a lighter pink with just the Quinacridone Magenta. Maybe a little bit of that purple. Add that glazing medium. When you're using that round brush, you need to thin out that paint quite a bit, so that's where the glazing medium helps. And I'm going to use some of this on my greenery too. There we go. Okay, we lightened it up a little bit. I'm going to glaze over this so that it's a little bit darker because it's a little bit too bright. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the phthalo green and phthalo blue and just blend over the top of that a little bit. Darken up that corner there. Maybe add a little bit of purple to that green. And the glazing medium. And just have it mostly on the tip of that brush. And then we'll use it down in here and we'll just glaze these guys and it'll darken up that color.
So do you remember your nail polish color?
I don't.
Purpley color.
It's in the tote, right?
With your coats?
Right there. The smaller one.
We need to show people your nail polish collection.
It is Abbey Road. Oh, good one. Nails Inc. Call me Nails Inc.
Shout out for sponsors.
All right, let's paint this dude. We got to get going here. I think I'm going to go with the number 2. And grab that black. Add some white to it, or water to it, I mean. Glazing medium. And we're going to outline our butterfly there. Outline it here.
They would like some tips on how to
Making it gray here with white. What?
to make the purple spikes not end up looking like a busy mess when completed.
Well, I'd stop every now and then and look at it, you know, because it's easy to get in the middle of it and not really realize. I think I did too many on this guy probably. I could have done fewer. I did better on this one. See how it's a little bit more spaced out? I kind of crowded it in this one. What I should have done is done my first layer and then done a second layer and then highlighted and not done a third layer. So I did like the dark first and then I did the medium and then I did the light and then I went again with the light. So probably, and over here I just kind of went with the medium and then kind of went with the lighter over the top. And then let that be good. But I think the main thing is to always figure out where they're attaching to too, you know. So, and keeping these ones that as they get to the middle, these are going to be much shorter. So, you're not going to be pulling these really long ones all the way to the middle. The long ones are going to be attached over here, right? And then the next layer is going to be attached just a little bit closer to the middle. And then the next layer is going to be attached just a little bit closer and be shorter. And then by the time you get in here, they're really small and they're all attached right here. So that also can help you. Okay. I'm going to do sketchy lines for the... I'm really going to keep this very light and sketchy tonight. I'm guessing on these, they're probably not quite right, so... But we're just going to try to get them close. Let these be kind of see-through in our first go around here on some of them. And then I'll go back in and darken them up in the middle and leave the kind of lighter area around the outside the base of the... And let's see, this one's going to be right in here.
So I think they've asked for clarification, saying like a tree fix then?
What?
Like a tree fix then?
I'm not sure what they're talking about. Tree fix what?
On how to fix the mess. I wasn't really paying attention to what you were saying.
How to fix the mess? I would just do more of the background then. If you've gotten it really big, I'm not really exactly sure what the issue is. If you got a clarification, that would help. Okay, and then this one is this wing. And there's some brown that's kind of in some of these. So I'm going to add burnt sienna and do burnt sienna on some of these that are in here. A little bit of gray. Black, gray, a little bit of the burnt sienna here. Mostly white. Did they clarify what they were talking about?
No, I think somebody in chat helped them out.
Oh, good. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay. A little bit of black. I kind of lightened up this one that's farther back. Maybe make the dark part just right here, but kind of lightened it where that kind of meets this other one here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just paint this all in black, even though I've got spots and things. I don't want to have to worry about where they go. Right now, we'll just paint them in later. Paint's getting thick. Okay. These have a little scallop on each one of these little indentations where the line meets it. So there's little scallops right in there. And there's little scallops on the outside too that go outward. Not as pronounced. So I'm just going to be okay. And then these ones, I'm going to do a little bit more kind of gray because they're a little bit farther away and they're not as distinct, a little bit more blurry. Keep that edge a little bit blurry. And to blur it out even more if we want to, what we can do is we can grab a little bit of that green. So take a little bit of that background green. And while that's wet, I can kind of tap over it, smudge it out a little bit. See how that does? It kind of disappears it and makes it kind of a little bit more blendy. Let's do the same thing for the lines in it. I'm going to get a little bit of gray. And then added a little bit of unbleached titanium there to do these little lines a little more smudgy. Let's do these ones too. Actually, there's not one there. I don't know why I did one right there. Actually, time is that 3? Okay, 1:30. I'm trying.
No big deal. There's no rush, babe.
Okay.
Serious.
All right.
People don't care.
Okay.
They want you to teach them how to paint.
All right.
But if they can't draw, there's patreon.com.
That's true.
/Angela Fine Art. Traceables. $2 a month. All the traceables going back to February 2017.
Yep.
Act now, but wait. There's more. The $5 level, get access to the traceables and a bonus video.
And the reference photos.
And the reference photos. This month's bonus video was the Yosemite National Park.
Yep.
But it's not just this month's bonus video, it's all the bonus videos.
Yep. Yep.
And
Okay, adding ultramarine blue here to do the eye. Go ahead.
And if you can't believe that, well, then there's a $10 level where you get all of that, plus access to a Facebook group and more painting.
Yes.
Another one with the
weekly.
still life, where she breaks up one painting over the 4 or 5 weeks of the month.
Right.
Take the time.
Yep. We do in-depth, much more in-depth than we do here on YouTube. I have more time to take my time, and we just chat and paint once a week. It's pretty fun. I enjoy that group.
And challenge your millionaire friends to sign up for the $1 million level.
There is no $1 million level, honey.
Where Angela will come and mow your yard.
Mm-hmm. No, I won't.
Not even, no?
Mm-mm. Maybe you can mow their lawn.
I'm trying to set up the rewards here for the $1 million level. You're not helping.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I need to explain what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to put some more Kind of clean this up. This little box area here was a little bit bigger than I had done it originally, and it actually comes out a little bit farther, but it's close enough. So do it like that, and then these ones come off of it over here. These lines might be a little bit off. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not being super careful with it.
We're not botanists after all.
Well, I usually get it just right, but tonight I'm kind of doing a little bit softer, a little bit more smudgy, and it's not quite going to be quite as perfect maybe. All right, going to get some of that black and mix that yellow in, and then I'm just going to do this kind of grayish black right here. All in this area. Get the yellow. Where is the yellow? I thought I just mixed them. I need to spray my paints. They're getting dry. Okay, so let's use this same kind of gray color up in here, along there. And I'm sure it's on this one too, so I'm going to go ahead and do it there. Although we're seeing the outside of the wing here and the inside of the wing here, so they may not match exactly. A lot of butterflies are very different. So then the bottom part might be brown and the top part could be blue. It's really interesting how they do that. So that's what our swallowtails are pretty similar on both sides. So, all right, so I'm gonna grab the ultramarine blue and my white, create a light blue. I got a little bit of phthalo blue in there too. I just picked up a little bit. That's fine. I'm going to go right along that edge, and I'm just going to do some blue. And I'm kind of doing a little U shapes in the little pockets that I'm seeing here. So where I'm seeing those, I'm kind of filling in these little blue areas. There and there. So pretty. And I'm going to go back in and do a little bit brighter right where, going back in with a little bit of the darker blue here, just along that outer edge, blend that out a little bit. And then right at the very tip, I'm going to do another layer, so I've got a really good bright blue dot. Since we're going over the top of black, it may take a couple coats to get it bright right there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring this out just a little bit, so I didn't have room for that dot there. So just bring this black around it a little bit. there. And then if I need to, I can go back in with the black and kind of tone it down a little bit or shape it out a little bit. But I'm going to bring some of this black in front a little bit. Let's go ahead and do our little limbs on our guy here. I'm seeing these little legs coming off into the yeah. And let's get some of this bright blue, with some white. I'm going to use it on the eye a little bit right here. Just on the front side a little bit. Highlight that eye, maybe not that much. I had a little too much water on my brush there. There we go. And then just wipe it off and just kind of push it around a little bit. I can get a little bit of black and kind of come around the other side and just tap into that and kind of tone it down a little bit. I have a nice little bright blue highlight. I'm going to get the teeny tiny brush here, some black. Do my little antennae. So I'm going to start up here, kind of dot it in a little line straight down. Dab it, little line down in. And I really probably should have curved that a little bit right there. Oh well. Yeah, let me see if I can get that off. Try that again. You can only do that if it's dry in the background. Don't try to wipe that off if the background's wet. Okay, so dab and come above it a little bit, curve down in. Okay, better. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then make sure that there's dark along the top there, kind of that whole area. I'm going to get a little bit of the white and yellow. And highlight his face a little bit right here. And the bottom of his body, and maybe right there. Okay. And there's actually some kind of limbs under here somewhere. I think I'm seeing something. What?
Somebody says a black spot by the second thistle. I don't see it.
Black spot by the second thistle.
I don't see it.
Well, I'm not done with the butterflies yet, so if it's on the butterfly, I'm not done with it yet. Alright, getting that orange, a little bit of white. Gosh. Just a little bit of white. I don't want it to dull the color, but the white will just help it go over the top of this black a little bit. So there's a big orange spot right here. And there's another one right here. Another one right here. Right here. Is this what they're talking about right here? Yeah, I think there's a little bit missing maybe.
Well, they're saying maybe check your hand.
Okay.
Nope.
I don't know what they're talking about.
They thought maybe your hand rubbed it off.
No.
Either that or you're doing the safety dance. Everybody look at your hands. I'm doing the best I can.
Okay. Thank you, son.
I'll stay quiet.
What? It's all right. I'm going to get the fluid titanium white for the last little bit here because it'll just help it go on a little smoother. And I've cleaned out my number 2 round here.
Okay, the mystery's been solved.
What?
It was something on their screen.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. Don't do that to me. That's funny. Okay.
Right now, other people say that they saw the UFO also. So.
They did. Okay, wow. It's gone. It may have been from our camera. Maybe it was a gnat on our camera or something. Walked across it. Maybe it's the ghost from outside on the camera outside that got in here. We've got this weird apparition that happens on our front door cam. I don't know what it is, but it's creepy. Okay, adding a little bit of pink to this white here for this one over here. Isn't it? I mean, it's creepy.
It's got to be a bug.
I don't think it's a bug. It doesn't move like a bug. It like flows. I think it's condensation or something.
No, because it moves upwards and downwards and
I
stuff.
know,
So
it's weird.
I think it's a really small bug.
No, I think it's a ghost. Okay, little dots. Probably not doing enough of these, but get them as small as this brush will allow, so there we go. I don't know. It's not quite clean right through here, but I think we're gonna call it good enough. I'm putting more of this white in here, and I'm just gonna put the orange over the top because it's gonna look better. All right, we're just about done. Weird shape here. All right, then I would grab that black and go back in with the black and do another layer of that. Right in the middle of all of these areas here. Clean up any of the black that needs to be cleaned up. I'm seeing a little bit more of that gray in here, a little bit lighter than we've got. I've just got a barely little bit of paint on here. I'm just going to tap it, kind of add a little texture to the body in a couple places there. And then the very last thing would be to add just some bright highlights in the wings with some white, maybe a teeny tiny bit of yellow. And just find some areas where, you know, you need a little bit of brighter highlight. Mostly I kind of just angle it in the middle of the wing sections where, and that just kind of brightens them up a little bit, makes them look a little bit more realistic, gives another dimension of color. And you can go over the top of your black lines with a really faint dry brush. That'll tone them down a little bit too, soften it all up, especially back in here. Getting that black. A little bit of white to the end here. All right, I'm gonna call that good. Let's splatter. I'm gonna, let's see, let's do the pink splatters. I think that'll look good. Add a lot of water to it. Oh, I can grab that color. That's already over here. It needs to be kind of a milky consistency. This may not be the best color, but we'll see how it looks over the green. I'm not wanting it on my butterfly, so I'm covering my butterfly. Yeah, it looks good. And then maybe some blue, I think. Get some of that ultramarine blue and some of the white. This will be pretty subtle. It's not much darker than the background color. Just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna call that good. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. If you paint it, you can share it with me on my social media, and I'll try to give it a thumbs up if I see it. I've got a Facebook group just dedicated for sharing paintings from my tutorials. It's called Thankful Art, so the link is down in the description if you want to join that. Basically, the only rule is be nice. So we had somebody booted this week for not being nice, so that happens. But we're pretty strict on that rule. I don't have a lot of rules in there. It's got to be my art and no links and no promoting your channel. If you got your own channel, good for you, but that's not the place to promote it. It's just for kind of sharing with other new beginning painters and showing what you're working on from my tutorials. So it's a lot of fun, though. There's a lot of really nice people in there. And we have bonus content in there, lots of art chats and things, all kinds of different things that we've done over the years. It's been several years that we've had that group going, so
Indeed.
doing some white too.
And then
Why not?
Saturday we'll be back painting another sunset or sunrise or some kind of
Yes, sunset landscape. So that'll be,
nice.
yeah, I think that'll be a really fun one. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.